Hey, after 2 long years, we're back inside of Legends. Uh, I was 4.5 years, maybe 4 years into 4.5 years into my 5 year shift, so we were wrapping things up. If you remember where we left off all those years ago, it's crazy. It's been 2 years. I felt like it's been like 8, 9 months, but I looked at the date and I was like, oh, apparently 2023 was the last recap, about a month from now. Um, but where we left Emrys was I was sitting there with Oyoko, who is Makoto's daughter and kind of like heir, uh, at this table, and we were like going over the meeting with Mistukaru and kind of what they wanted out of it. Uh, like they wanted like to have like to be able to listen in because there might like it might be like the last time she ever speaks up because she's a prisoner. She doesn't want she was kind of non-cooperative. She was one of the originators, which we'll find out a little bit more about them later. Uh, but so yeah, we had finished that, and then I had gone down to the planet. The first part of my session was kind of just a little like conversation between Rohan, Sai, and I, and we come to find out that like the prisoners, like this is like a significant prison. Like it's not just like housing anyone and everyone. I think like most people are like at least Super Saiyan, if not Super Saiyan 3, but there are no second to zeros. Second to zeros housed here. So it's like there is like that kind of like people of significance, but not that second O is like kind of the you made it level as far as like most of the Saiyans are concerned. Um, so like those prisoners are held elsewhere. But anyway, this is basically some ones and threes. But what we come to find out is they can basically um, auction off contracts for the prisoners to have them come work for you in some sort of like indentured servitude kind of thing. And I think, who was it? Like Saya was very against it. Rohan seemed like he was kind of shocked at first, and then was kind of like, "Oh no, I get it." And then I was like the same way. I was like, "Oh, like wow, didn't realize I didn't even realize this thing." But I was like, "Nope, I get it. It actually makes sense to me. Like, you're a very capable person, and if you're willing to like have your contract get bought out, you can do that and go do some stuff with your sentence instead of being like locked in the mines." So I had no qualms about it. It was a surprise that it existed. I was like, I don't put my nose in that family business too much, but it is what it is. So we had that little conversation. I left Saya and Rohan there to go to the meeting, just because like there are like dangerous prisoners down there. I come to find out that there is this creation magic alchemical concoction that they make called Black Lightning, and it makes it look like there's like I guess it's like their veins turn black and they get like jagged, but it basically like suppresses a Saiyan's power down to around like a C rank. So like Super Saiyans are like the S plus rank, and then like from there it goes like A B C D kind of thing, like going declining down to like I think Saya was like one of the lowest ranks when she started out. Um, but yeah, so it's not just something that you can get ejected with and it shuts you down. Um, it exists in that form where it's like if you just like let's say you had like a dart gun that was able to penetrate like a Saiyan skin or something like that, and you mix like this alchemical creation magic formula with it, you could like maybe drop a Saiyan down by a portion of their power or maybe even a whole level. But for it to have the efficacy it does, it basically needs to be tailor made for each prisoner, and that kind of gives you like idea of like how you house these very significant, powerful prisoners, and like there's an aspect of it that they can they can like suppress like the mystical side, your Arcanian mystic side, but it seems like the way the DM worded it is like you basically need to sit down with the person and then like formulate it specifically tailor it to them. So it's not like I don't think I have to worry about some guy out there in the dark being like, yeah, man, that Emrys guy, I really hate him. Let me make this little dart that like completely neuters all of his powers. Like it doesn't work like that. Like it seemed like there was a bit of a caveat to it where it's like you have to be captured, and then like they do like the experimentation on you to get it, and then like this is how they kind of long term store you. Um, Without having to worry about like dealing with like Super Saiyan 3s that can like spew lava everywhere like Mistukaru can. So we take our leave from there, or I take my leave. I just basically fly down to the planet, um, and I fly in this like huge mining shaft that I think like the DM described. Like I could fit like 10 of my ships through it or something like that. My ship is like 175 meters long, so it's like, I mean, it's not like a massive like dreadnought style ship, but it's it's big, but it's not like stellarly massive. Um, so I'm flying through down. I don't think there was anything. Yeah, like I said, this actually took a while to come together because it's like there was like some interaction with some guards, like some like do this, don't do that kind of stuff. But we're skipping over that. It wasn't overly important to the story. Um, I get down there, and she is like in the bowels of like this. It's like a mining planet. Like this whole planet, I guess, is very rich in resources, and that's what most of the prisoners do. Is they take part in mining operations. Like as I was flying down, I saw like veins of like rare minerals and crystal formations and stuff like that. all of which are things I use in the forge, depending on what I'm trying to do. So I was like, oh, maybe I should get in on this here, become a part of the prison industrial complex. uh, no, but yeah. So we were flying down there, or I was flying down there by myself, and I was basically being updated through my HUD in my suit. Like I have like some basic like Saiyan armor. It's not like what you'd see in like DBZ. It's more futuristic, like what you'd see in like Mass Effect. So it has like the helmet that kind of like shields your head, and it's the HUD. Um, I get down there and I meet up with Mitsukaru, and she's like covered in grime. She looks a little thinner, but not necessarily malnourished. Like she's not like starving, but she's definitely like slimmed down, trimmed down a bit. Uh, Probably just a different way of working, different way of working out kind of thing. Like she's not as thick as she was before, and she's like an Indian looking woman. She's pretty attractive, but I think she's a bit older than me. Still not too old though, so it's okay. And we start off with like a little bit of small talk, and she asks like what she's like, okay, she's like, you didn't come all this way to like just bullshit with me. And I was like, well, I was like, that all depends on you. And she asked like, why are you here? And I said, I want to understand why you did what you did. I said, no judgment, like no, I'm not here to tell you to change your ways, or that there still might be hope for you yet, or anything, like nothing preachy like that. Like just I'm here to find out your side of why things happen the way they happen, because I feel like that there was a piece missing um, from the equation. Like some things did not add up, and she was like okay, and then as you can imagine in real world, the ish started to go down. There is the DM described it as like there was an earthquake or a quake um, that started to happen, and then I could sense something coming towards me, but whatever it was like complete. It was messing with my senses. Like I didn't expect it to be a person coming out, but it was like some sort of force or entity or technique that was being used. So I jumped over in front of Mitsukaru and kind of like picked her up, put her behind me, and brought up my matrix. Because I'm thinking, I was like, there's one of two things happening. Is that basically, I think my original theory was the originators are coming to like tie up some loose ends. That like basically Mitsukaru failed in getting the helix out, and I was the one that like sort of actively prevented it. So like they have the two of us in one place. They're gonna send someone in to like try to off us. I was like, oh shoot. You know, it's like we have a depowered Mitsukaru in me. It's like I just hope they don't send like a second freaking 3 after me. Um, the second one was that like Mitsukaru might be planning some kind of escape, but I didn't know for sure. Um, and whatever this stuff was at the end of the strider is like a chaff, like but it like massively messes with your like ability to sense energy. Like so, like my basic senses like sight, sound, touch, all those things are still intact, but like your meta sensories are just completely haywire, and you can't sense anything. But it basically basically ruptures through here, and I look back to Mitsukaru like kind of like trying to figure out what's happening, and she puts her hand to one of the crystals, and I can see the black lightning flowing out of her body into one of the crystals. Now she's like an earthbender, but like turned up to like 12, like not even 11. Like she's got like some crazy, like hers. It's like it's not on like the move mountain scale, but it's just like she can do some crazy things with like earth magic like that, or like she specializes like in earth and lava, earth and heat, like earth and fire, I should say, making lava. But yeah, that comes out, and I'm still not sure what's going on, because I'm like, oh, like she's actually gonna be able to help me in this fight, or is she planning to escape? Well, she wraps me up with all these metal chains from behind and slams me to the ground. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not actually defending you here, and you are taking me captive. So I did the thing where I tried to like break out of them, because like I think the first thing I had like my Colossus style armor up too, like that. Mine looks like black and sleek. It's like a black silver surfer almost. And yeah, I had that up. I mean, it's over armor and everything, so it's not like it's just nothing but exposed skin. But yeah, I had that up, and she slams me to the ground, tells me not to struggle. So I started to struggle. It's like that's what because I'm like you don't want to get captured, get stuck, anything like that. And she kind of like slams me around a little bit. Oh, and she puts this metal when she punches me. It hurts because she's a freaking 3. She jumped up to a 3, so I had like a long form power up, which like I said, I'm a high 2, but like getting hit by a 3 with 10 times durability on this armor really hurts. But it doesn't it doesn't make my mouth bleed out, spit out blood or anything like that. Like I eat that hit, but it hurts. But I heat it. It's like I said, I don't lose consciousness or anything like that, which I think is again one of those testaments of like Emrys fighting up kind of things. But it's not like I have the trump card, and like I said, I think I could have potentially done more stuff to try to get out of it, but I didn't come here to fight her. And it's like she also has some things where it's like if she wanted to, she could mess me up really bad. I remember she was the one that put like the glass thing inside my entire body by making me breathe it in, and it was like going through my veins and almost killed me. It was like the most terrible experience my character had ever gone through. But anyway, she put this mask over me, and it like formed up into, if you guys remember in the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey, what the mask looked like in its neutral and dormant state, like kind of like that, a little blocky carved, like South American style mask or something like that. But yeah, it was like that, and it formed over my face and kind of attached to it, and it cut off my ability to access the Harlequin, which is like my speed bonus, which I was like, later on this comes out, but I was like, did you make that technique just for me? And she's like, you should feel honored. I was like, I do feel honored. Like, I mean, like, you're a 3 and I'm a 2, and like you're shutting off my techniques. Like, I absolutely feel honored. Because it's like one of those ones where it's like, oh, like, high 2 could be a problem for Mitsukaru 3, which is something to say. Because and I it's one of those ones, like, I say it a lot that Emrys fights up, but it's like if you take on paper like your average 2 versus your average 3, it's like 100-0 in favor of the 3. Like it's such a low diff. Like there's just, you don't have a chance. Like the power gap is way too high. unless you have some sort of out of the box thing. But like even like the out of the box things, like a lot of times they have an answer for, but it's crazy to have to suppress physicality of a 2 in any way to like have a 3, you know, consider you a non-threat. Like it just shouldn't exist like that. Like, you know, 3s and 2s in the physicality spectrum are so wide that like it was kind of like an honored thing, even though she's like taking me captured. So I stopped struggling, and she activates this weird like Stargate looking portal. I'm like, oh shoot, she's taking me off world. Like, where are we going? And it actually only took me somewhere else on the planet. So I was like, okay, we're still okay. I was like, so what's what's going on here? Is this an escape? Is this a I was like, do you just want a different venue for our conversation? I was like, I can understand wanting a little sunlight in your life. I was like, you're looking a little pale and living under the ground in the mines. And she's like, today is like finally going to be a good day. And I was like, all right, well. I was like the chains aren't necessary, you know. I was like, I'll go with you. I was like, I'm gonna have this conversation, one way or the other. And she left them on for there. Something came crashing down. That was the other big note was that chaff that was messing with my senses was now covering the planet. So like, which that's on par for someone who's a 3. Like you could have techniques that exist on that scope and scale. You'd probably be a pretty high 3 to do it, because like definitely for a 4, like a second to 0 or a 4, planetary techniques are well within your wheelhouse. But like for a 3, like doing like a disruptive technique, like you could buy it. But through all of this, a golden flash lands behind me, and I kind of snap around and look, and it's Saya, aka Form Up Girl, and she is in a very unstable Super Saiyan state. She has not reached this point before, but I guess the other thing I left out is there's fighting going on all around me. So like there's some sort of, it does seem like now there's some sort of like Prison Break plan where like there's like an invasion force. And like this is her either taking advantage of it or it's like all planned out or anything like that. That unfolds as we go. But yeah, I was very proud because I was like, oh shoot, because Saya's dream was to become a warrior, and it's like she was just basically someone with no potential, nothing going for her or anything like that, and being able to hit like the golden hair level means you kind of make it. Like like in the grand scope, like. In the realistic grand scope of the world, like second to 0 means like you don't answer to too many people, and then there's like a crazy amount of like Super Saiyans out there. But like to kind of you basically made that cutoff where she hit her dream of like actually being like a full-fledged warrior, which I was like, like you got to be proud for her in that moment. But she has these senses that are like transcendent to anyone near her level. Like they surpass mine, and they surprise 3s and 4s on a regular basis. Things she's able to sense. I can't remember. I can't remember. So Oyoko's bodyguard, his name is Gorman, and he's a death magic user. Which I'm starting to run into more and more of these. And man, death magics are terrible. I need to get like some death magic resistance in one of my powers. Like I was like that power shop, we might be putting that to use for some death magic resistance. But there was this like, we were in the room with him, and Sai was this is a little out of order. This is back at like at the end of the last session, and Sai is like, does anyone else like see that weird shadowy figure in the room? And they like Oyoko and Gorman both slowly turn to look at her. Because she wasn't even, she was like an A class at this point. Like she's not even like a Super Saiyan. Like you can like see and sense that technique at that level, and like it's just kind of like wow. So like see, it's like one of those examples. Like Saya's senses are somehow everything, and it has to do with whatever that Cameron the Wandering Warrior who came into my shop, did something to her senses, and he was like some sort of weird cosmic being. So like her senses are everything. I was like, I need to get her to teach me. Or like pass this on to me somehow, because holy heck, like having that in the bag would be so everything. Because she, back to the present, while everyone else, myself and Mistukaru included, has no sense of anything that's going on, Saya basically found me on the planet after we took this portal and came down to rescue me. which is everything as far as the sense goes. Now, unfortunately, Saya is a brand new Super Saiyan, and Mitsukaru is a 3. She will murder Saya, and it won't even be close. I can like go toe to toe with someone for a while and still like maybe win 3 out of 10 times. Like it's like a it's not a maybe even 2 out of 10 depending on like their suite of abilities. Like Mitsukaru, like I'm saying like low 2 or 1 out of 10 if I've got like everything at my disposal. And even then, it's a big iffy. But Saya is like 0 out of 100, and she's like looking at me, and like I'm very calm, cool, and collected. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like we're just we're gonna go see a different venue. And of course, I'm wrapped in all these chains that Mitsukaru like made out of her like earth and metal magics. And Saya looks like she wants to do something, and I just kind of like sure, like no, like it's okay, like don't do anything. And like Mitsukaru kind of looks at me and looks to Saya, and it, like she's like kind of like feel like because I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not gonna try to pull any nonsense on you or anything like that. Like I came here for a conversation. Whatever you're doing, like I'm just here for the conversation. I don't really care. Like I don't have a massive stake in your machinations or any of that kind of nonsense. Like I came here for some answers, and if I got to go somewhere to get them, I'm fine with that. So she backs down, and I tell Saya, after we leave, just go find Rohan and keep each other safe, kind of thing. While I was talking with Saya, what's her name, Mitsukaru, there was like these things buried under the ground, and she used them as like a kind of a flare, like some sort of like flare to cut through the chaff that summoned a ship for her. And it was like this cargo ship that was refitting into something else, probably a warship, to be honest, but the DM didn't explicitly say that. So she takes me up onto the ship, we leave Saya behind, and we get up there, and I think there's like 7 or 8 other Super Saiyans. I think there's like 1 or 2 3s, a couple 2s, and then the rest 1s. And it seems like it's like kind of like Mitsukaru's some sort of crew that's working for her, with her, all that good stuff. It seemed like with her because like the meeting with one of the guys that she came up with, they seemed like they had a moment, not necessarily a romantic moment, but like a reunion moment. So I just kind of sat there. I just kind of stood there wrapped in chains, and they're like, "Who's this?" She's like, "He's Cargo." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of offensive." And I think one of the users, I don't know if it was the same one that did the chaff, she did something where she used like mental magics, and I think she was one of the higher levels, and she was overcome by like resistances, and she knocked me out. So I woke up in a makeshift cage in the cargo bay, and Mitsukaru is sitting there, and she's like, "Hey, get up, we're here." And I was like, "Well, yeah, sure, like, what's going on?" And she's like, "Follow me." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Listen, I was like, I'm still just here for answers. Like, I don't care about all this. Like, that's, you got a problem with my family and like the Arcanian space. Like, I'm out here living Emrys' own life. Like, you're barking up the wrong tree on that one." And we go down to this planet. It's a very like storm cloud. We were on this planet, and we flew down to the ground, and like through this very dense forest to an opening, and it's like stormy weather, but it's not quite raining yet. And she has this like coffin looking thing, but it's not big enough for me. So I was like, okay, I don't think she's gonna like bury me 6 feet under or kill me or anything like that. So I was like at least a little like not necessarily reassured, but I didn't know where it was going. So she basically carries it with us, and we go land, and she calls up these 2 pillars, and she said, "Okay," she says, "let's have that conversation." And I said, "That's all I'm here for." Like, she says, "What do you want to know?" And I said, I want to understand why you did what you did. She said, "What do you know about me?" And I kind of basically told her about like the positive reputation I had seen her through. It's like where she was someone that was recruited by Makoto. She kind of rose up through the ranks. She was given like some responsibility. She became warden of the planet, and she was generally like seen favorably. Like Dakawan praised her like military formations when they were doing the military drills, everything like that. She ran like a tight ship. She was generally liked. It's like it seemed like she had an existence that was pleasant. I hope that didn't do anything. Okay, should be still good. Um, yeah, sorry, the thing went to sleep there. Uh, so I was like, what, you know, and that was what I knew about her, and she's like, okay, she's like, well, she says, I come from a smaller family, but like one of, so it's like she would be like a Bannerman family, like in the Game of Thrones perspective. It's like, uh, the one of the smaller houses, and they were basically brought into Makoto's. And now you got to remember, like Makoto isn't like the big house either, as far as Arcanian space goes. Like, yeah, he's got his own thing, and he's one of the smaller ones on that scale, but like he's still got like a pretty significant area. He's at least somewhat of note, but he's not like one of the big five houses or anything like that. But anyway, like she's one of like a small houses that orbit him, and they have like their system in their area, and he agrees to bring them in for like stability in the region, and like it's like they work out whatever trade deal. It's like, oh, you kick up some resources, we provide like the protection of the basically my house and my armies and stuff like that, and like if we go to war, you guys provide your bannermen, like some of your warriors, like kind of like one of those mutually beneficial things. And I was like, okay, makes sense so far. And then there was a rival house in that system. So basically there was like two houses, and war broke out between them, and like I said, Makoto didn't step in, which, like I said, it's like he basically, I kind of got it in the sense of, it's like, yeah, like let's let them sort their own business out, like they like it's kind of like an internal feud kind of thing, and apparently both of the houses like kind of destroyed themselves, where both suffered really heavy losses, and I think like Mitsukaru lost like her parents, like her siblings, like people close to her, and everything like that. So that's kind of starting to paint the picture. It's later revealed that as she like obtained that position of power, she was able to like get a lot more information out there, and also like so she said she treated that position as a stepping stone. It was like it was the best thing that she could do with her situation, but it's not something she wanted to do permanently, because like it was still kind of like there's a sourness to everything of like losing her family and her bloodline. And I think the originators approached her, so it wasn't like she was like a member of them and deep seated and planted. It was like she got approached with basically a new opportunity, and her thing was she was just looking for an out. Like she wanted to get out of this space, of this sphere of influence, and start over. It wasn't like I'm looking to screw over Makoto. It's like I'm not looking for revenge or anything like that. It's like she's like I feel like I'm too old for revenge. Like it's just it's not going to bring anyone back. It's not it's not going to make me feel better or anything like that. It's like it was what it was. And then she revealed that something she found out, because like that was like I guess like the originators had tasked her with like finding some things out that might like allow for vulnerabilities and stuff like that, was that Makoto may have incited the other house into attacking hers and starting the war. And like that definitely like that's where she was like, well, screw it, your uncle isn't the honorable person that he claims to be. And it's like I never really thought him to be, Makoto's like a wartime person. Like I think he's been through like the Swarm Wars and like the Twilight Wars or something like that. Like I feel like like there's a good chance he's got a couple war crimes under his belt in there. Like it's like I don't think he's a saint by any stretch of the imagination. And I told her that. It's like it's you don't want to hear it, but it's like it's also something that doesn't necessarily surprise me. It's like from like I said, like I try not to deal with the political aspect, but from the political aspect, like I get it. It's like you have two rival houses, and like there's political infighting. I was like, just let one wipe the other one out, and now you only have to deal with one house. Or if they both wipe each other out, which is what happened, then Makoto basically comes in and takes the chaos in the region and brings order, but then brings his people in. So it's like, I get it as far as the political move. It's like, if the rivals can't sort it out themselves, you know, they can't come to an agreement, like let them either wipe themselves out or weaken themselves to the point where it's like they need Makoto's stability to come in and like bring order to the region. But if you're one of the people whose like family is dying in the process, then yeah, you're going to be a little sour towards it. So it's like, yeah, I didn't think it was like, you know, it's kind of it is what it is. Like, yeah, I don't think Makoto's a saint by any means. It's more like, you know, I've got this power, and I've got, you know, you got to do what you got to do to keep the peace, kind of thing. So she explained that to me, and then she basically said, yeah, I had my out. Like, they basically said, you know, you find a premier, you know, like look for premiers. We're going to pull you out, all that good stuff. So that was that. And then she made her move, and it just you know, because that's what I said. I was like, I never took it as something like personal in the sense that you were coming after me. I was like, it's just literally, I explained this to her. I was like, it is literally happenstance that I happened to like find where Pan was training, and I just did a thing to help her, and she ascended to Super Saiyan, and then became like she kind of fell under my wing for a bit as far as training went. So it's like, it was literally just happenstance that we happened to cross paths. Like, if I just stuck to Saya and Rohan, you would have basically made your escape and never had to deal with me. And you know, you might have been able to get away with Pan, and you could have succeeded. It was like cosmic fate kind of thing, which when I approach her to wife her later is going to be what I'm gonna go on, because I said, I was like, I'm gonna have Opal as my love, Ali as my strong warrior bride who will give me very strong children, and then Mistukaru is gonna be my spy master wife who tells me the people plotting against me. So that's Emrys's little setup so far that he has in his little like cloud dream, but she explains that to me, and I kind of get my closure on it. Like, yeah, like I understand why you did what you did, and again, like I said, like, I'm not gonna tell you, like, you know, you were supposed to be the chosen one. Like, no, it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm a very practical, I'm a pragmatist when it comes to this character. Like I'm not here to be like judgy and like, you know, the paladin where you got to be the good guy kind of thing. And then she comes over and she gives me a tablet, and she says, I figured you might want to see this while I was digging around. And she shows me this video, and it's like, it's like the meeting of everybody that's been a part of my story. So there's Makoto, there's my mom, there's Uncle Tosh, there is Late of Lore, and then there's I forget, Osmond or something like that, I think is his name. It's like he's her second in command, but it seems like, oh, well, not in this video, but yeah, he's there. Who else was there? So it was everybody but Cyrac and Zelda. But yeah, there's basically these people like my family and like friends of like my family and stuff like that, and they're all on their knees beat, and Makoto's got his sword out, and it looks like it's going to be an execution. And it's just like, oh shoot, what the heck is going on here? And he's like, the audio is cut out, but it's like, looks like it's some sort of drone footage. And he's screaming at them and pointing accusatorily and stuff like that. And my dad lands next to him, and then they start having this like very big verbal argument. Like, they're pointing back to the people who like are there with their heads down and beaten. And Makoto shoves Hashin away, and Hashin like kind of draws his sword out, like kind of like, don't do it. And it looks like there's about to be like a battle between my dad and my uncle, like the patriarch of the family, or like the patriarch of like this generation. And yeah, it's just like I'm trying to figure out like what could they have done, like. Because the thing is, these people are still in my lives today, and like Lane of Lore, like Lane is like this person in a significant place of power. Like, she has like a massive weapons empire that she does weapon distributions to like the greater republics and everything like that. And it's like all these people are still around. Like we just had dinner not too long ago with a lot of these people, and it's like, what could they have done that like Makoto was ready to execute them, and then like now they're like sitting at the table kind of thing. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. And then it looks like Makoto and Hashin are about to fight, and this guy Dantos, who is like, he's Makoto's best friend, and like some would say like his fourth brother, his closest brother, because like Makoto raised Toshiro and I think to an extent Hashin. When it came to like just like the way it worked out, like he is a good bit older than them, but like Dantos was like Makoto's closest, like he was his like closest friend and best friend, but also basically like a brother. And Dantos manages to calm Makoto down, and like there's some more harsh words exchanged, and Makoto walks off screen, and the thing cuts out. So I was like, what the heck's going on there? And then one of the there's two other files on this thing that she gave me. One is still encrypted, which I'm trying to figure out why. It's like, oh, like maybe it's not for my eyes. And the other is a picture that says Under the Twilight, and has that group plus two other people. One of them is Cyrax. He's the leader of the Crescent Moon. He's like that ninja operation that operates alongside Makoto. Like they're kind of like they do a bunch of shady stuff for him. Like they not like outright like criminal stuff, but like they're like kind of like the in the shadows type organization. He's there, but he's missing from the video. And there's this other woman who I ask about later, and her name is Zelda. She is like one of those haunting people that look like she has the sunken black eyes, and surprise, surprise, she has the look. She is a death magic user. She's like me. She's an ether smith, so she's like a really gifted crafter. But like instead of constitution magic, she has death magic. But yeah, like just looking at her the entire time, it's very uneasy. Even through like this like so it looks like it's a photograph of a photograph, but there's still like an eeriness to it. And death magic users they do possess these eerie auras that can like mess with you, like whether it's like they make you don't want to look at them, or like cause like irrational fear and stuff like that. And like trying to overcome it is very damaging. So like it's not one of those things you actually want to try to fight through. Like it's like your stubbornness is like a saying of like, let me power through it. Like that's the worst thing you can do, because then it messes you up more. But anyway, like she's exuding this even through a photo of a photo, which is crazy. But she was a very talented ether smith. She was missing from the video as well. She was presumed dead, Mistukaru explained to me, and then she pieces all this stuff together. That she said, this picture says like Under the Twilight. And so like the Twilight group is the weapons group that my mom and Lane and a bunch of other people formed, which like my mom got out of. Lane then became like the big thing of it. There's a couple things in this photograph that become apparent. Is Toshiro, my uncle, and my mom seem very friendly together. Like the deal even said, like even like in a potentially romantic way. And I'm just like, oh man, like Uncle Tosh, come on, we want to do this family drama. And then she reveals that the thing that turned Rohan into like the Lobo Hulk creature, and also what else was used, is a death magic concoction. It's like a death magic device that like transforms weaker people into these raging hulking monstrosities that usually burn themselves out. But yeah, it's death magic. And the sword that Allie gave me, which is another callback, it was made by Zelda or by her apprentice, if she had one. But no one knows if she's had an apprentice. But it's unmistakably touched by her in a way that it either had to be her, and her death was the reports of her death were greatly exaggerated, or like she had an apprentice that no one knew about. So there's like this, there's all this nonsense and conspiracy stuff that might be coming on, like with my uncle, like what happened where he was ready to execute like his younger brother, my mom, Lane, and like a couple of these other people. And then what's going on with the Crescent Moon? What's going on with Zelda? Is Zelda the cloaked figure that we were running from, that we were trying to chase in that one mission with Mira back years ago? who knows? But she gave me something to think about. And I asked her about like the Project A sealed file. She says, "Oh, I just wasn't able to encrypt this." She's like, "This is just information I was able to pull out before I pulled out." And she's like, "I'm giving it to you because like I'm basically washing my hands of this. Like I'm," and she basically said that she's taking like the spy network that she kind of formed up during her time and just like leaving and finding like someplace new to like set up shop, because like that was kind of what she always wanted, was a play out. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's fair. Like, I didn't give her like the warning of like, don't let me catch you here again or anything like that. It's like, I think it was kind of like the listen, she's past this, she's moved on from it. She's like, you can do with this what you want. She's like, I assume you'll try to verify it and everything like that, but do with it what you will. Um, and she kind of brings the coffin over, and in it is my gear, including my like the hammer that I crafted, like the Thor's hammer kind of thing that it has all the magical stuff and all that good stuff. And she and oh, at some point earlier I left out that I told her like, like, listen, you don't have to worry about me, like I'm literally just here for the conversation, just. So she didn't have me chained, and she removed the mask, and that's where I had the conversation of like, did you make that just for me, or is that a technique you had? And she said, you should feel flattered. And I said, I do feel flattered. I do feel flattered that you would like design a technique to to basically shut down part of my abilities. Like that was a very, kind of like the time in prison well spent. And I was surprised because it's like, did she? I guess she knew this meeting was going to happen, but like, I didn't know the extent of it. So she had been planning this for a while, but it was interesting the way she planned it, as far as like, I don't know what things came together that when I was there that it worked out for the best opportunity for her. But we said her goodbyes. I kind of said I at some point thanked her for sparing Saya, because we talked a little bit about like her being my apprentice, and she's like the girl from like Les Elves or whatever it was. The training gym where she was like scrubbing stables is now a Super Saiyan, and she's just kind of like, kind of like a respect thing. Like you managed to mold that into an actual Saiyan warrior. So like it seems like there's a very like a mutual respect between the two of us. Like I didn't judge her actions, I didn't like accuse her or anything like that. It's like I was very pragmatic towards her plight, and I think there was kind of like a heartfelt moment where I was like, I'm not saying this is like my uncle's nephew or like on behalf of my family. I was like, but I'm sorry for what happened to your family. I was like, that's not right. Like, she kind of waved it off, and I kind of like, it was like one of those ones where I think it was like a kind of a genuine Emrys thing, like where it's like whenever like danger approached, like his first thing was to get between her and the danger. It's like the same way. It's like, and she kind of said like the idea that like she's like, I think you actually might be one of the good ones, kind of thing. And then like her last warning words is like, she says, but they do say the good die young, so try not to let that happen. And I said, don't do it. I will try not to do anything too stupid, which is what she kept telling me, is like, don't do anything stupid whenever I'm taking her away, when she was taking me away. And we kind of left with like a nice little choice words and dialogue. It felt organic, but also like well written and snappy. Like it was impactful. At some point it did start to rain, which definitely added to the atmosphere as the DM added to it. But she said that there was basically in the thing that there was a signal that my ship was probably, that my ship had tried to catch them, but they managed to be, they just had like a better equipment, so they managed to outrun them. But they were probably about an hour behind, and Rohan and Saya did come pick me up, and that was where I was put on shift pause. I got my meeting with Mistukaru. I got my answers. She escaped, so she's out in the wild again. I don't think it's the last I'll ever see of her, but I think we left on pretty favorable terms. Like I could see myself working with her in the future, and like I said, like she is very attractive, and she is like, even though she's older, I'll have to ask the DM again how old she is. I probably have it somewhere. I'll just have to look at my notes to see how old she is. But like I was like, yeah, she could be my spy master wife, as far as things go, because remember I said like my Makoto, Hashin, and Tashiro's father Donzo had like 6 wives or something like that. So I was like, that's the footsteps on like Emrys is looking to follow in, because I think I take the most out of from what I've heard from some people. I take the most after my grandfather. He's got like a lot of positive traits for him. Like he was a very like a meditative kind of person, a very contemplative and pragmatic kind of person as far as bringing things together. So like we'll see how that plays out. But that, and then the DM basically explained that I think I have like 6 months left on my shift, my 5-year shift. but nothing. There's not going to be any more sessions of it, so I can kind of try to accomplish some of the stuff I wanted to off screen, which is more like me working in the forge to do something like making a magical item or going on like like I have different like training goals and stuff like that. The DM sent me this nifty spreadsheet of all the stuff I had to do, but that was where I was put on pause. I said I'm pretty much done with my 5-year gap, and then the last 6 months I'm going to do, I can like basically work it out with a DM outside the character. But that was my session.